Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Well, hey, today we're going to head down to my hometown, or my ex-hometown of Modesto, California, and we're going to be speaking with a student who is accomplishing really wonderful things working on her family's sixth-generation nursery. And I was surprised during the interview, and you will be as well, where all these generations of this nursery farm took place and when it came to California and where it came from and why. Really interesting story. We're going to get that started for you right now. Well, joining me today is Abby Van Klaveren, and she is coming to us from Modesto, California, my former hometown. And she's going to be talking to us all about her time in the FFA. She just graduated, and she was a secretary there at the Modesto High School FFA chapter, as well as a state proficiency winner and a national finalist in nursery operations. So, Abby, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hi, it's good to be here.
Well, good. I'm so happy you're joining me today. And how is Modesto today?
It's good, warm.
It's warm. It'll do that down there, right? It gets kind of hot. People, they think it gets hot like in Arizona and in Texas, but it can get hot in the Central Valley of California.
Yeah, that's for sure.
For sure. Well, I appreciate you joining me and looking forward to speaking with you. What I always like to do to start off our interviews is just to ask you just a little bit about yourself so our audience can kind of get to know who they're listening to. Would that be okay with you?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Well, so we know that you're 18. We know that you just graduated. Congratulations on high school graduation, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And so when you're not at Modesto High, are you, and you're at home, are you on a farm? Are you in town? Or something maybe in the middle of those two?
I'm usually at home, working at our family nursery. We
Okay.
live on the property. We're a wholesale grower, and we grow container plants for retail garden centers.
Okay, very cool. So how would you, I guess I should ask that. So do you refer to it as a farm? Do you refer to it as a nursery? How do you, when somebody asks you where you live, how do you describe it?
I usually describe it as I live on a nursery.
On a nursery. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So you're growing plants for commercial landscape providers, is that right?
More for garden centers.
Garden centers.
Some local ones in Modesto would be Morris Nursery, Westerf.
Okay. All
Joaquin is in somewhere in the Bay Area. But yeah.
Okay. So all names that I remember from my time living down there. Very interesting. Now, how long have you been part of the FFA?
For 4 years, I joined my freshman year in high school.
Okay. So what made you join? What brought you into that?
Actually, my friend, her older brother was really involved in FFA, and she joined it, and I guess you could say I followed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, you stayed in it for 4 years and you became an
yeah,
officer, so something must have worked out.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so when you came into the FFA, well, let me ask you this. I mean, so many people go through kind of a transformative experience being in the FFA. How did that go for you? Is there anything that you're better at now as a result of being an FFA member that maybe you weren't when you were a freshman?
Definitely. Public speaking. I'm a very introverted person. Um, I don't, yeah, I'm a very introverted person, so being able to project my voice
Mm-hmm.
and speak publicly is something that really improved since my
Okay.
freshman year. I have FFA to thank for that.
Okay. Now, where is your nursery located? And I know this is something only a few people are going to understand, but I'm curious because I'm from down there. So, like, what road is the nursery on?
It's on the corner of Rosemore and 132.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Many times I've gone down 132. So, I was a sheriff's deputy in Stanislaus County for a while.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, plenty of time driving up and down 132. And so they're doing something, right? With Highway 132, they're going to bypass it or something like that?
Yeah, they are.
Well,
Yeah.
that'll be interesting. So you'll have, when that's done, I don't know when that'll get done, but you'll have a lot less traffic going past your nursery, I would assume.
Our road is now a dead end road. There's a big pit at the end of it right now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting stuff. Well, that's me wanting to know about what's going on back home. So very interesting. You ever go out and have the clam chowder at Twin Rivers?
I haven't.
Oh man, if you like clam chowder, it's so good.
I love clam chowder.
Well, make it out there one of those days. Okay, so 4 years in the FFA, you wound up being secretary. What made you join the officer team?
I really wanted to be more involved in FFA because I didn't take any animals to fair.
Hmm.
I didn't do any of that stuff. I just did, and I wasn't on a judging team my first 2 years, so I wanted to do something for the chapter, with the friends that I've made in the chapter.
Okay.
So I decided to be a chapter officer, and it was one of the best decisions I think I could have made
Very
during
good.
my career.
Very good. Well, good for you. Well, how many FFA advisors did you have there at Modesto High?
Um, my first 2.5 years, we had two advisors, and then my senior year, we got a new uh, advisor. So
Okay. All right. Um,
currently,
oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
currently we only have two, but I'm the
Okay.
other one.
All right. Well, we always love to acknowledge our FFA advisors on the show. Would you mind letting us know who those folks have been for you?
Yeah, that's Scott Lane and Julie Shelley's.
Okay, very good. Thank you for doing that. I'm going to take a quick moment, Abby, just to acknowledge a couple of our great sponsors and everybody, of course. I want to mention Lacrosse Footwear. You can find them at lacrossefootwear.com. Always love to bring up lacrosse when we do our FFA shows because, well, Lacrosse Footwear is very proud to support the FFA by annually sponsoring 15 scholarships along with 100 jackets as part of the Give the Gift of Blue program. And of course, we wear lacrosse boots on our farm out here in Idaho every single day, whether we're irrigating in the summer or feeding in the winter in the mud, in the snow, and the ice. We've always got the Lacrosse Alpha Range boots on, and we hope you will do the same. And then, of course, Powder River Livestock Handling Equipment. Just so proud to be affiliated with this company. Growing up, well, actually, one of the first ranches I ever worked on was just down the road on 132 from Abby's place, where 132 crosses the San Joaquin River. The Mapes Ranch, I got to go out there and work a couple times, and just getting to know people and raising cattle, and everyone down there is using Powder River squeeze chutes livestock panels, and now we've got Powder River on our farm here in Idaho, and we hope you all will do the same. Let your local farm and ranch retailer know you'd like to see that Powder River green out in their sales yard, so you have the opportunity to buy the finest in livestock handling equipment as well. Okay, well, Abby, let's talk about your supervised agricultural experience. So what is it that you have been doing?
So I work for the family business. I have a work experience SAE. It's 100% placement, so it's not entrepreneurial. Entrepreneurial.
Okay.
I work I'm doing propagation. I manage the greenhouses. I do water checks, pest control, transplanting, soil media, everything on the nursery.
Okay, so you've learned it all.
Yeah,
Now,
that's my goal.
how long has this nursery been in your family?
I will be the 6th generation.
6 generations, my goodness. You know, that's so interesting. I interview a lot of students that come out of, they come out of the Northeast, maybe Connecticut, or maybe the upper Midwest, maybe Ohio or Illinois, and they'll tell me it's a 6th-generation farm. And I always think, wow, it's so great you live way back there in the East and it goes so deep in history. But people forget that people have been in California for a long, long time. And there's going to be 6th-generation farms and even longer there in California.
We've actually only been in California for 2 generations,
Okay.
and all the other ones were in Holland.
Oh, you're kidding me. Wow. Now that's even more interesting. So 3 generations ago, was that grandparents that immigrated from Holland to California?
Yes.
Wow, very interesting. And has it always been a nursery type of agriculture in your family?
Yes.
Very interesting. So what brought them out? Why did they want to leave Holland and come to California?
The war.
Okay. So World War II?
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. Wow, that's quite a history. So There must be photographs or documentation and stories of what life was like back then and in Europe.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty amazing to hear.
Very cool. Very interesting. So they came out there, settled off of Highway 132 in Modesto. Was that the first location in California?
Um, no, the first location was in Campbell.
Okay. Okay. Campbell, California, and got started with this. Okay. Well, that is very interesting. So now you are learning all aspects. And so I'm assuming, is there a slow time of the year for you, or is it every day all year round?
The spring is really busy. The rest of the spring and summer are notorious for being really busy.
Hmm.
The rest of the year is definitely slower.
Okay. Now, how old were you when you first started working in the nursery and having your own responsibilities?
Uh, um, Sixth grade?
Sixth grade.
Yeah,
And how have those changed over time for you?
a lot. I went from um, maybe pruning some things, just starting to learn how to do propagation. I've grown a lot since then.
Very cool. Man, good for you. That's really interesting. So, what was the key to your project for you receiving such accolades? I mean, being a state proficiency winner is incredible, a national finalist is incredible. What was the key to all of that for you?
Um, the key was probably the people around me, and their help and encouragement to me even applying to it. So
Very cool. So, the folks around you, and obviously there had to have been a strong record book associated with that.
yeah,
Did that take you a lot of time to get that done and get the application done?
yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, here you are. You've got the family business, and now you have graduated high school. So, and we're gonna release this episode in late July, July 22nd. So it'll be late summer. So what is next for you? Are you going straight to work? Are you going to college or the military or something like that?
Um, I'm going to Oregon State University to study horticulture,
Okay.
and my hope is to come back and take what I've learned and um, take over the nursery and improve what's already great thing that's here.
Very cool. So you're gonna go off to school in Corvallis, Oregon, and you're gonna learn the latest information that's available, and then your hope is to bring that back to the nursery in Modesto.
That's my hope.
Good for you. Wow. And so you're going to be an Oregon Beaver. Man, that's a tough role. You know that the Beavers, they constantly get beat up by the Ducks in Oregon every year.
Yeah, well, I'll see about that.
You're probably more focused on your studies than you are on football. I would assume. I would
Yeah,
assume. Okay. Well, very cool. So off to the Willamette Valley, and I'm assuming you've been up there and toured the college already.
I have, yeah.
Okay, it's a little bit different than Modesto up there.
It is a lot more rain.
A lot more rain, a cooler climate, maybe even some occasional snow.
Yeah, I've heard. I not complaining.
No, it'll be a really different experience for you. Very cool. Well, so let me talk about your nursery a little bit more. Let's talk about varieties. How many types of plants and things do you grow there?
Um, about 700 different varieties.
Wow, 700 varieties. So is each unique? I mean, do you have to learn the specifics about each separate variety that you're growing?
Yeah, for sure. We have the nurseries separated out by the size of container that we're growing it in,
Okay.
and by whether it needs to be in the shade or not. So
Hmm.
there's the 1 gallon section, and then there's the shade house and that whole area is all 1 gallon containers, but half of it's in the sun, half of it's in the shade, and it's the same with 5 gallons and etc.
Okay. So if 700 different varieties was not enough, then you've got to learn all about the business side of things. You've got to distribute, market, sell, take orders, get payment from all your different customers too.
Yeah,
Yeah. So there's a ton to learn there. What did you say you're going to major in at Oregon State?
Horticulture.
In horticulture. Okay. So getting specific on the plant side of things, but you'll still have to learn the business side of things too.
Correct, yeah.
Very interesting. What's the name of the nursery?
The name of the nursery is Generation Growers.
Generation Growers. Very cool. What an interesting story, Abby. So, have you always known that you wanted to stay working in the family business?
Um, yeah, yeah, I think I have. Um, there, there's never really been anything else that I had a passion for as much that I have as this. So,
Okay. Well, that's great. I think it's wonderful that you've got that opportunity, but it means so much to you that you want to take advantage of it like that. Well, let's do this. I'd love to ask your advice for some other students out there before we finish it up. For a student who's coming into the FFA and they're trying to figure out where their place is, and maybe they are introverted like yourself. What should they do to try and conquer that introversion? And there's nothing wrong with being an introvert. My daughter's an introvert. I tend to think I'm kind of an introvert, but there are things that you want to be able to do that introverts are uncomfortable doing. How can the FFA help a student overcome those things?
I'd say that it can help force you to interact more with not only other people, but with the public speaking. FFA will give you a lot more opportunities to really get outside of your own box.
Hmm.
It'll help you conquer what you're afraid to do. Like public speaking, I was terrified to go up and give a speech to any amount of people. And even doing an interview like this would be nerve wracking for me. But I think that I'm able to do it more comfortably now because FFA has helped me
Hmm.
push through that.
Yeah, you've done a wonderful job here. I would have never ever said that you had any trouble at all coming on and speaking with me. So good for you. You've done great. Well, Abby, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for joining us and sharing your story today. It's really a fascinating story.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you to Abby Van Klaveren for coming on and sharing that great information with us. Thank you all for being here today. And as always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.